Hey everyone, it's Bradley Rosa with the Broward Bar Buzz, and I'm here with my good friend Lourdes Ferrer and a great partner, Joe Stevens. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So, there's reason to have you both on together. I met Joe through you, Lourdes. So tell us a little bit about how you guys connected, the friendship and the partnership that you developed, and how that translated.
That's a great story, and it's long, so I'm gonna try to make it short and quick. But she's probably the best thing that happened to me as a friendship and as a sister, but for business because her marketing ability and her websites and their SEO are amazing. So the way that I really ended up, getting to know Joe was through the, law firm sites that she owns, and she didn't own it at the time, and we got a web page or an initial design that I wasn't thrilled about. And so I complained, and they said, I'm going to put you in touch with like the best one.
Wait, you complained?
Maybe once. And they introduced me to Joe, and we immediately, instantly clicked. And she just did amazing, amazing work. And that was too many years ago to count. And so to me, it's an honor for me to be able to recommend somebody that is not just a friend or somebody that I see as family because we work so close together, but that gives actual results. And, in our business, in the legal business, it's all about, so much of it is results oriented. So to me, since she took over and offered her SEO services after designing an amazing website, it's amazing how many calls we get without even our advertising at all.
Do you do blogs or I know we spoke about it. Do you do blogs with Lourdes?
We do blogs for her every single month, and I'm actually happy that you kind of brought up on like what's I love about Lourdes and our relationship, client first, right? Like we started as she had hired our company and didn't have a great experience right out the gate. She was like, hey, I'm not happy with this. And it was one of those situations that's been invaluable to me because it was before I bought the company, and I was the COO at the time, and she gave me the opportunity to fix it and to fix the problem. And that doesn't always happen, right? Like that's true. A lot of times if somebody's unhappy with something, or they're like, hey, you know what? Like, let's just peacefully part ways, or, professionally, but Lourdes I was like, will you allow me the chance to fix it and be able to teach my team and learn from it and grow? And my goal is to purchase this company someday, and the client experience is everything, right? Like that, at the end of the day, you want your clients to have a great experience, because if they have a great experience, guess what? Then they will refer you to other people. And then naturally what came from that was this amazing friendship. And so yes, we do blog. That was the long answer of yes, we do blog for Lourdes every month, and part of our SEO that we do for her website. And I'm not sure how many blogs that we write for at this point, but that is part of the big process, and why her site has been so successful is that new content every month that's going on there.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit, Lourdes, about some of the process on how you interact with Joe's team to, I guess, provide her information, that team, so that they can do their thing, their magic?
Yeah. It's tough to say because they really do most of it. They really do run with it. It's a seamless approach. You'd think, hearing this concept, you'd think that you have to be extra involved and that it takes time. But with them, it's not like that. And I had gone through a couple of website companies before I met Joe. So, I was already a little concerned because it's not just the appearance, but there's so much technology behind it that as an attorney, I have no knowledge of and don't have the time to study it. And so to be able to have met her and her team, and so my law partner deals with one of her team members, Ben, who's amazing, and he prepares them, gives them a list of topics, and Jeff says this is good, and they prepare it, and then Jeff will review it and give the okay, and it instantaneously goes up. But it's the amazing customer service. I don't want to make this, honestly, and I'm being straightforward, I don't want to make it sound like it's an infomercial. It's a very sincere statement to make, because I feel like if in our field we get tons of vendor calls and people trying to, I get emails all
Yeah.
the time about trying to change website companies, or there's this with your website, or we could do this for you.
Every day. An
Every
email.
day. It's, and it's an avoidance
Yeah.
to not get stuck on one of those
I went to your
calls.
website and I noticed I could help you with SEO.
Every day. And I'm
Every
like,
day.
I don't need any more help with SEO. I'm referring to, colleagues of mine work that I can't take on. And again, Joe, you're the expert, but to me, I don't know a lot about blogging since I don't do it myself. But we have had very specific cases that people have told me that they found us because of those blogs, whether it be solar panel issues in community association or homeowner associations. That was an article, a blog that they prepared. So to me, I'm glad that I complained about something, because if I
too.
didn't complain
Me too.
about it, then I wouldn't have
Right.
this success, and the friendship, of course, as well. But the foundation was just solid, and I really can't say enough. And like I said, I really love to refer her, and a lot of my friends and colleagues have been using law firm
Yeah.
sites, and they ask me, well, what do you do, because you're always raving about SEO? And I tell them, I don't know, ask Joe.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah.
So Jeff will meet with Ben. They'll jump on the phone or Zoom and kind of go over some topics. Ben will then write this.
He does.
blog?
He will go actually do the research on it to see what their competitors are actually doing, what they're writing. He'll give suggestion as well. We always go based off what the attorney wants and kind of what they're thinking and what their thought process is. So we use that as a base. Then we do our research for it. And then we also suggest past that, hey, this is also what your competitors are doing. Can we also write on this topic? And then, he puts that together, sends it over to one of our legal content writers. They do all of the writing. And then it gets posted to their site and optimize the back end, make sure all those keywords are linked so that they're actually coming up for, the articles that we're writing for them. And then voila, leads.
And it's amazing because when if we win a case or we were interviewed on a newspaper or something like that, Jeff, he handles that stuff directly with law firm sites. And I presume, Joe, that everybody has, I guess, a dedicated team or something. In our case, it's Ben.
Yes.
Who, of course, we do love. I can't emphasize that enough. And I know that my partner will email Jeff. Jeff will email Ben.
Yes.
And instantaneously, our website is updated.
Wait, so how long have you been working with Ben?
I would say it has to be at least
4
4
years.
years.
And I know Jeff.
Yeah, at least 4
So
years.
if Jeff's happy with Ben,
Jeff
then-
loves Ben.
then Law Firm Sites is doing something good.
yeah.
We
'Cause
are-
I
we-
love Jeff,
We teach
but-
hyper responsiveness at law firm sites.
You better,
know?
Jeff, you got to work to make sure he's
But hey,
happy.
Ben's going to be really happy about this podcast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I love Jeff. We hang. He's my boy, but I know Jeff. So 4
It's
years.
that military.
Yeah.
It's a military.
background. It's a
We're
military
both
thing.
military.
Yeah.
I'm difficult too.
Yeah.
It's just,
yeah.
But okay, 4 years.
Yeah,
That's
I
solid.
want to say that you had signed on with us, and it was 2018 or 2019, because I purchased the company, my husband and I, in 2020, and that's actually when we brought Ben on too. Was at the end of that year, and that was 4
Wow.
years in October. So yeah, it's been 4
I
years.
remember when you told me
Yeah.
that you were doing it, and I was so excited. I was like, you have to do that. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Because her story is so amazing.
So what's next for the website? I know you're always looking at new things to do.
Lourdes
and-
is getting a new website design. I was able to talk her into it.
Okay.
After the thing is that websites need a refresh every
Sure.
5 years.
Which I understand and I
Yeah.
respect, and I defer to her, and she convinced me.
Yeah.
But I'm of the mentality that if it's something is working so
Sure.
well, why are you going to touch something? But again, there's that technology component
Yep.
that she knows about. So she convinced me, and I'm so looking forward to that. She just designed something and sent it over to me, and I loved it instantaneously.
Yeah.
So what's that process like?
For-
Redesigning a website?
Well, the great thing is once we've already built something, it's not nearly as labor intensive as building something new or from scratch, right? We build all of our sites on WordPress, which is pretty universally known.
Yeah. Was
and
it blogging software initially, wasn't it?
It was.
It
was. Look at you.
Of
Yep.
course.
See, blogs aren't dead.
No.
They're not dead.
Okay.
So, once we've already built it and we have it on WordPress, becomes just more of like a resurfacing, right? She's not going to lose any of her back end stuff. And that's something that she was concerned with, which is a valid concern of why would we touch it? It's been working so well for me. I love it. And I'm just like, well, Lourdes, you are my biggest advocate, and you put me out there more than anybody, which I am so grateful for. But I'm like, we need to update the website. It's just time, it's
Right.
6 years old, it's 7 years old. So it just needs a little bit more of a beautiful refresh.
Okay.
So no, it's more just kind of a new coat of paint on the outside of the house. We're not rebuilding from the ground up.
Okay.
So it won't be too labor intensive, but we got to make sure that everything's functioning correctly, so she doesn't lose anything that we've built for her.
But it looks so pretty and classy.
It looks beautiful.
When you first came onto the company, what was the process to get your website set up, and how long does that take? Although it's probably evolved since.
It has definitely evolved.
That's a great question for her for the specificity of it.
Yeah.
But the reason why I love that question is because, like I said, I had gone through other web companies first, and they really put the old expression of monkey on your back and I want monkey off my back.
Mhm.
The common denominator was me having to be extremely involved in the process.
And who's got time for that?
And
As
I
a
just didn't have the time.
busy
So,
attorney.
Yeah,
it was like
exactly.
2-3 years that I literally had the practice, and I didn't have a website. And when I connected with her, she just did so much of it. What do you like? She got an immediate feel of it. And then of course it depends on my responsiveness, but my responsiveness was easy when the quality was so good, and she was able to listen to my vision and carry it out. So from there, I don't know from your perspective how that works.
Yeah, it definitely has evolved. And again, a lot of it was because of Lourdes and that exact situation and that scenario. And again, she allowed me to give me the feedback, right? Like, hey, what didn't you like about this process? Let me be able to fix it. Let me alter my process moving forward. But we generally start with a design. So we will create a design kind of from scratch, what the attorney wants, what they're looking for. It will just be basically like a large image of your homepage. You can't click on anything, it's not functional, and we go back and forth as much as they want on the design aspect of it to ensure that they love it before we then kind of send it to development and code it and build it and make it a functional website. Design changes are a lot easier in the beginning, and when it's in the design phase, it's a lot harder on a built website if somebody came back and was like, I want a totally different color through the whole thing. I want all new fonts. I actually want this section moved up here.
Okay.
It's kind of like building a kitchen in your home and then deciding you don't really like the cabinets, so I'm going to rip them out. It's a lot better to do that in the pre-planning phases of website design or building a home. So we start with design, then we build the website, we make sure they're happy with everything, and then it gets launched.
How deep, this is kind of more of a technical question, but how deep should a website go? And I don't know if I'm asking that right. Meaning, how many clicks, like from the home page, how many clicks down does it need to go to get answers? I would think generally you don't want to go too deep, I guess, although for some things, if people wanted to go deeper, I mean, I don't.
So the funny thing is we've done a lot of testing, a lot of research, and made this, honestly, it's a great topic for another podcast with us too, is we build all of our home pages on a conversion funnel. So we've done a lot of testing of, hey, what actually converts when somebody lands on that home page? Where are we losing them? Because we can track, we can heat map exactly where somebody lands on the website. What part of the page did they leave? What part of the page did they click further and deeper in?
Okay.
So the home page is obviously the most important page of your website, and there should be certain things, certain questions that the website answers when people get there. Why do I believe what you're doing? What is it that you do? And you can answer that with certain sections, but they should always be able to contact you and click immediately, and that should always be on the home screen. So meaning if you scroll down, a contact us should always be floating somewhere in the navigation. You should never make it difficult for somebody to have to click multiple times.
A lot of
to get a
websites
hold of you.
are difficult too with that, like contact, like you have to go through a few things, and then there's like a little pop-up button. It's like contact, this email thing. And so the other thing is like, and I guess maybe it's purposeful, there's often like, it's hard to find a phone number.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? I'm like, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It should be, and that phone number should be clickable, guys. Everybody's on their phone looking at your website. Should be able to click on it and it actually dial, and it's small things like that.
Because I'll be honest, it's rare that I want to put in all my contact information. and
Absolutely.
send that in.
Yep.
I'm going to criticize myself. I often say this generation, instant gratification, but
Yeah.
I'm like that when I want to talk
Sure.
to communicate with someone. It's like, I'm going to call.
Yeah.
I want, and
Yeah.
don't put AI for me. I want to speak to a human being
Yes.
that I can ask these questions to.
100%. Especially when you want answers now too. You don't want to fill out the form and then wait 2 days for somebody to
Yeah.
call you back. And
Exactly.
again, that's something that we get pretty hard pressed on our attorneys about. And ones that we're doing SEO for, I'm like, hey, when you do get contact form submissions, they need to be called within an hour.
There you go.
That is
I was going to say within the day, and she's
yeah,
saying
I
within
said
the hour.
within an hour. And then within a day, and then 2 days later, and an email follow-up, and so there needs to be a way better intake
Yeah.
system too with a lot of these law firms of you're sinking money into marketing.
Yeah.
Make sure you're responsive.
So who receives those emails in your office, Lourdes?
So it's great because Law Firm Sites has it set up where I get the email. I presume it's pretty immediately,
Yeah.
instantaneously, and it's like a form that's filled out. It's very organized, and my partner will get it, I will get it, my assistant will get it. But that's typically my baby. I will either, depending on the description or the information that they put in, I can gauge who and when I should respond. So obviously I'm going to try to do it as quickly as possible. Sometimes I'll email myself, explain the consultation process, and say, if you're interested, let me know, and I can put you in touch with somebody. Other times I'll forward it to my assistant and say, please give them an immediate call back and have them reach out, because that submission has an email and a telephone number. So it depends, and I've just learned through time to gauge
Absolutely.
which is the best way. Sometimes you could tell that people are more, in my opinion, I think that they tend to be more email technology oriented, because there's a big group of people that call, and my assistant is fabulous at that, at really talking to people and making them feel comfortable.
Weeding
Yeah.
through
And
what's
weeding
good, what's
throughout,
not.
Yeah. But to me, her website submission process is a great way for me to weed out, because we do receive some very interesting and quotes
Well, in this
submissions.
situation, I think it would be good, because I'm assuming there's like some detailed questions.
Yes. Yeah. And depending on each attorney site and what they're wanting to ask, and again, some just want a name and a
Okay.
phone number. Some want, hey, put a description of what it is you're looking for.
Okay.
So it's depending on what Lourdes is getting. But it just comes to her instantly, and then she can decide what's important, what she knows at this point, what to reach out to immediately, what to have her assistant call on.
I've looked at your website, but now I'm going to go look even harder.
Well, don't look yet till the new one goes up.
Oh, okay. Because I'm going to be looking for like FAQs or tests.
Yes. No, it's true.
The test questions that
The
we
test
talked about once.
questions. Yep. She's got great content on her site. She has really good content too for very specific practice areas. It's not general. It's like we've been able to build out, 9, 12 really good, beefy individual practice area pages with really good content on it. And then we build blogs past that.
They're just so good at not being cookie cutter. And that's important to me, because I like to say that my firm, in today's, not to date myself, but I've been practicing over 23 years. So the way the practice was over 20 years ago has changed a lot. And I think that there's a lot more law firms now that have more specific practice areas. I think the more experienced attorneys are narrowing down and being more specialized, as opposed to just open-ended practice areas, a little bit of everything. And so to me, a website company that can really custom tailor and do things that's not cookie cutter, like my firm specializes and doesn't do templates and cookie cutters and things like that, they're great. And a perfect example is, I know that a lot of firms take great pride and think it's fabulous to have that chat option bot on their screen.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, I'm sure, swear by it. I don't like it. It wasn't working for me. I didn't see that conversion when I responded and was involved with it.
Yeah.
That takes time to respond, right?
It takes time with respond, and it wasn't the target clientele that really we serve.
Okay.
And I think Jeff
Very
emailed-
prominent in personal injury.
I was about to say
Yes.
PI attorneys. That's mainly.
and I can see how that would be great. It wasn't something for our area of condo and HOA law, so
Yep.
they immediately, it was just instantaneous.
Well, and those chat bots too. We'll have clients come and be like, I really want the chatbot. I saw this on somebody else's. I think it's a really good idea. And I said, I never think it's a good idea when it's AI. I feel like it should always be a human on the other end. And I'm just like, unless we get a service for you, or you have somebody in office that's going to be hyper responsive, it's actually going to hurt you if you are not hyper responsive on that chat.
I mean, this is kind of tangentially connected, but yesterday I called a restaurant, I'm not going to say the name of the restaurant, to schedule a past president's lunch. And I call, and there's a AI voice thing.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is it didn't have the option I needed.
Yeah.
It basically said we do takeout or pickup or something, and I'm like, yeah, no, I need to make a reservation, and it didn't even have that. Like you'd think it would have like reservation.
Yeah.
And it was frustrating because it kept me on there, and finally, I was yelling at it.
Yeah. Well, you're probably screaming representative, like I
right.
About
That's
when
what I'm like.
T-Mobile
Human. I was
20
like, I
years
need
ago.
a human person.
Yes.
And finally it said, okay, I'll get a human. It's like you just annoyed me so much, and
now you're going to remember that, and you're probably not going to use that restaurant again, and you're probably
quite
not
possibly
gonna go back. Right, like it's just going to be one of those that it sticks in your mind.
Because it was so poorly thought out by their management. But they're corporate now.
Yeah, of course.
So they give you a number. They don't even have for group reservations. They must have a company they work with that does multiple restaurant chains, I guess. So.
And that's what I mean about that cookie cutter.
Yeah, the bot
somehow
or
the
AI.
Consumer, in my opinion, senses it. It senses when it's at a corporate level, or it's so far removed from personalization.
Right. Yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And you lose connectivity with your client. People, they don't think you care anymore.
Which is so important because they don't want our clients' problems, in my opinion, are very legitimate. It's their universe.
Sure. Yeah.
And whether it be a personal injury that we don't do, or it be a home issue with a condo and HOA that they get home after a long day at work and they get a letter and whatever it may be. It's annoying. I've been the recipient of those letters too. So it's a big problem for them. And so you don't want to make it difficult for them or depersonalize the experience for them.
So Lourdes, would you recommend Joe and law firm sites?
100%. I could not recommend a company better. The experience has been marvelous. I can't imagine not working with them. And I'm happy to answer any questions from anybody that's contemplating either switching or starting the process from anew or whatever it may be. I think it's important to be able to connect with people, and I've been more than happy to speak to people that are interested in using law firm sites, and I will be always more than happy to answer questions for people that are interested in it.
And how would someone get a hold of you?
They can email me directly at the firm. You could go to the website to see their work of art that they've done.
What's your email though?
It's my first initial last name, so it's L. Ferrer, so LFERRER at FerrerLawGroup.com.
Perfect.
Thank you, Lourdes. I just want to say too that a lot of, and she'll disagree with me, but I've said this to her for years now. I'm like, we exist in the state of Florida because of this woman, because she allowed us the opportunity to fix the mistake that we made and to learn from it and grow from it, and believed in us and believed in me. And I'm going to try really hard not to cry. I do every time. But I'm like, we exist here because of her. Like, I'm sitting here with you because of this woman and because she believed in us, and she said, hey, if you guys need a website, you need to go to Joe. You need to go to law firm sites. Like, she's going to take care of you. And that belief, has been everything. So I love you. Thank you.
The feeling is mutual, but I just want to make it very clear. It's not like if I'm writing her a check under the table.
No.
Things. It's just that, like I said, to me, I take enormous pride in seeing somebody build a business, work for the business, buy the business, grow the business, and do such good work. And it's all to her. It's her team and the work that they do.
Yeah.
Look, I'm friends with her, so girl, I know that you would not be making this up. I know you.
You'd have to work. You'd have to work on.
So I know how
stay
much
quiet to not say what I thought.
You are like, you're here to educate people about
because I believe in
Joe and law firm sites. Yeah, absolutely. Joe, how does someone get a hold of you and to learn more about law firm sites?
Email is probably the quickest and easiest thing. And my email is just Joe, J-O, there's no E at the end. So jo@lawfirmsites.com. So email me and I'm like happy to chat.
Wonderful. Thank you both for spending time with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.